Hey guys, it's James Walsh here from the Wrestling Epicenter. I'd like to thank you for finding us here on YouTube. If you get the opportunity, please click that subscribe button, as well as the notifications bell. This way, anytime that we upload any new content or new-to-you content from our archives dating back to 2002, you'll be notified. You can check out what we're up to. Please also check out www.wrestlingepicenter.com for all your wrestling news and information needs, as well as check out our store to keep us running free and clear. Without any further delay, let's get to why you're here. Thanks for checking out Wrestling Epicenter on YouTube. This interview is with the future at that point and now former Mrs. Al Snow. She was the hardcore champion of the WWF as Bobcat. In WEW, she was Pussy Willow. She is Cyndi Snow. And no, I don't mean the one from Three's Company. Though, ironically, they have met, and I actually discussed that with her after the interview. But pretty cool to have had Pussy Willow on the show, as she was at the time. We were promoting WEW Wrestling, which was those pay-per-views where you'd see a great match with somebody like Jazz or Angel Orsini, who might be dumber than dishwater, come out and do these great matches, just fantastic matches. And then, guess what happens? Backstage, there's a softcore lesbian porn scene. Well, all right, that's consistency. Why not? But anyway, this was what we were promoting at the time. Pussy Willow, who was Bobcat in WWF and TNA. And here she is on the Epicenter. Enjoy.
And welcome back to the Wrestling Epicenter and 3 Count Wrestling. And in conjunction with Dream Reunion 2, which is being held in Kokomo, Indiana on October 6th, 3 Count Wrestling and the Wrestling Epicenter are proud to bring you an interview with the one half of the current WEW Tag Team Champions and former WWE Hardcore Champion, the one and only Bobcat. Bobcat, how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing, Chris? What's going on?
We're doing fine. First off, let's talk about the Kokomo event. Are fan festivals like these something you look forward to?
Yeah, in a way I do. You get to see everyone you haven't seen in a while.
Oh, like, okay. Like, who are you looking forward to meeting and talking to?
Well, pretty much, especially like I haven't seen in a while. Pretty much I know everyone, so it's just kind of like, it's like, hey, how you been? Blah blah. Because what happens in wrestling when you do the indies a lot, you run circuits with some people more than others, and then you don't see them for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Then you run the same circuit. It's kind of weird. Then you run the circuit with another group of people, depending on where you are. And if I lived up north, it's a circuit. If I live down south, it's another circuit down here. So it's funny how it changes. Mm. But I look forward to really seeing everybody on there.
What is it about the fan fest, like Dream Reunion, that draws you to them besides meeting, catching up with people?
Well, it's kind of a way for us all to reminisce on our heyday, glory day.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you have.
Like, hey, I remember you. I'm
pretty sure your days are your best days are ahead of you.
Well, between your mouth and God's ears.
And anyone specifically you're looking forward to catching up with that you haven't seen in a while?
Okay. Probably. Because pretty much everyone on there I have seen in a while. I know that there's a lot of them coming in the night before. Mm-hmm. Well, pretty much everyone else I've been working with, pretty much.
Okay.
On a regular basis.
And, well, in addition to the Dream Reunion in Kokomo, you're also scheduled to attend the Wrestle Fan Fest, which is in San Francisco, at the legendary Cow Palace, and I think that's required. You have to say it that way. Anything you're anticipating about coming to California?
Oh, it's because that's going to be supposedly. Now I don't know. It's going to be everyone who has anything to do with wrestling, from way up to way on the bottom. So that will definitely be interesting because that'll just be everybody in one room. So I'm just interested to see how that's going to turn out for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's go into some background questions. How did you get your start in the business?
Believe it or not, I used to sing at a punk band, and I always loved wrestling. But it was like either be in a band or do some wrestling. And I was in a punk band, and I almost got signed. We were an all-girl punk band. And then guy who I wrote the music with was a bass player. Long story short, he had I would like to call her my Yoko Ono. She was paying his bills, and when we had a record deal, she decided she wanted to join the band, and she had no talent, and she wasn't even cute. So I'm like, what do we do with her? I'm like, that's not a way to start out our business, because he's like, well, if I don't put her in a band, she's going to throw me out. I'm like, we got a record deal. What are you talking about? Anyway, we got into a fight. He's like, I'm leaving the band. I was like, whatever. So we went to the record company. They're like, you guys are starting like this. You can get the whole deal. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my second, like, you know, what I wanted to do originally, my love wrestling. So I just went to a wrestling school to start wrestling.
Wow.
And that was that.
Anybody we'd know?
It's like, what?
Like anybody in the band that we'd know? Or?
No. Needless to say, no. I think I was the only one that actually ever did anything from there.
What did you do in the band?
I wrote the lyrics, and I was the lead singer.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't sing, so I'm jealous of singers.
Well, I'm not the greatest. I pulled it off.
Well, as a fan, you said you were a fan growing up. Who were your favorites?
Oh, Ricky Steamboat was definitely my favorite. I used to love watching him, which is one of the reasons why I got into wrestling. And actually, when I first time I met him, I was like, yay! You know, like kind of marking out for him. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Miss Elizabeth and, you know, Moolah, which is always one of my faves. Mm-hmm. And King Kong Bundy, I always loved him. And George the Animal Steel, so it's kind of much more my thing. I love them guys, and I always loved watching them on TV. So actually, when I start working with them, it was kind of like, kind of marked out. Like, yeah, this is cool. I see the indies.
Cool.
There's a different time when I first started out too. There was a lot more going on. There's a lot more indies. There's a lot more work.
Yeah.
You know, there's ECW, WCW, WWF. So there's like all this stuff going on.
And where did you get your training?
Believe it or not, I first started working out at this gym in Jersey, which it was kind of pre-Jersey All Pro before they kind of got into it. Mm-hmm. And Magic, I don't know if you remember him, he started training us. Then I was working for Bone Breakers because I was just a manager at first, and then I started working for Bone Breakers, and actually it was NCW and Bone Breakers, and they would trade us up at their school there a lot. And then what I would do is I would go to the ring early from a lot of shows and I learned from different people. You know, I learned different things from different people each time I would go, and then I would go to Gino Caruso's and just work out. Mm-hmm. So I had little bits and pieces. And then when I initially got signed to the developmental, it was kind of like stripped from everything that I had been doing, and then I got retrained all over from Dr. Tom. He started from the beginning. It was like, this and this is what you're doing wrong. And then I got into a Regal training, so I had a good 3 years in Tracy Smothers of relearning everything. So I had quite a bit of crazy training.
Wow. And, well, I don't want to call this the highlight of your career, but it's I guess it would be like the high point so far. May 15th, 2000, in Cleveland, Ohio. I believe the Gund Arena. You defeated Crash Holly for the WWF Hardcore title.
Yes, that would be it. I made history.
Now, explain to us like the day that happened. When did you find out you were going to get the title?
When I first got to the building, everyone was like, "Hello, champ! Hi, champ!" I was like, "What the hell are these people talking about?" I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha!" They're like, "You're going to win something." I'm like, "Yeah, ha 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 ha!" You guys are all joking. Ha 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 ha! And then finally, everyone went up. Yeah, you're going to go in and you're going to cover Crash and you're going to win. You're going to be the hardcore champ. But then he was going to win it right back from you. And then I spent, that next week on TV just trying to get it back. And then, yeah. So I didn't think they expected the reaction they got, and they kind of wish they would have wanted it a little longer, but.
Because I have to tell you that entire 24/7 rule was probably one of the funniest things, and it just made me want to come back, and I think that's something that's missing from the company. So, but that's just my opinion, you know.
Well, you know what it is. Wrestling changes. I mean, I've been in this business. I remember first getting in the business where it's a big kayfabe. You couldn't even ride up to the show with somebody you were working with, and more likely than not, usually the person you were riding with was the person you were working because you hooked each other up. So you drop one off, the other one come around the back. I remember talking on walkie-talkies before cell phones were even big. And discussing your match couldn't see or hiding behind cars. And so, you know, now everybody knows. I mean, the athleticism is real, it's there, and, you know, it's just evolved. Wrestling's forever changing. I mean, is it really the same? Yeah, but the changing, yeah, it's changed.
All right. Well, one of the things, and I was going to ask this later, but I guess I'll ask it now. One of the things that when we interview a veteran, they hate about the modern business is that everything's just out in the open. One of the things about you that's out in the open is your real name, which I'm not going to give. What are your feelings about like that kind of openness about the business?
Well, you know, I remember, like I said, I kind of, parts of it I like and parts of it I don't. Like, I remember, again, when I played heel, I've gotten hit with hot pizza, bottles, you know, even though recently at a nice tea show I was getting hit with bottles for being, you know, not, you know, like water bottles, but at that, some people really believed that, you know, you were the bad guy, and they really wanted to hurt you. So that aspect of it, I like the fact that fans look at behind you and know what it is. You know, if you're doing your job well, whether you're a heel or face, they will still get behind you. Okay. I like the fact that Vince changed it to it's sports entertainment. That's really what it's been. So I don't mind the change as much, not at all. Some people really.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, well, this is one of those questions that I warned you about before we started. That this.
Oh yeah.
If it's none of my business, please just tell me so and we'll move on. On Wikipedia, they have your age listed as 36. That you were born in 1971. Is that accurate?
I'm going to give you one answer, the same one. Let's put it this way: when people ask how old I am, even my family looks at me for. I told you. I always say 29 forever, and that's all you're getting out of me.
The Jack Benny answer. Huh?
They say, Grandma, that was 29 years and looking kind of busted, and I'll be like, all right, that'll work.
Well,
but you got to figure as long as I've been in it, and I'm definitely not a young spring chicken.
Okay. All right, I had to ask because it was one of the confusing things.
That's all right. That's all right. There's probably all different ages posted on me, but the one I would reach is probably the 29-year-old one. As a matter of fact, on my MySpace, when they changed it back to 30, I got hot, and I tried to change it back. It automatically.
Okay, well, so now one of the companies that you're known for working for, I guess the most predominant one is WEW, Women's Extreme Wrestling. You've been with them since, I guess, the early days, probably the first show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And now you're one of their champions. So the first question I have about that is it a validation for you now, being a champion, having them trust you with the title? For all the years of work you put for them?
You know, yes and no. I always felt that, like, I love to wrestle. So when I got to wrestle, I wrestle. I'm not egotistical about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't want to be mean by saying they really no difference. I'm still going to go out there and do my job.
So
I don't know if it's that bad, or is it good, but I really, one way or another, I mean, it really did make a difference to me. I know that that's not probably the answer most people are expecting, but to be honest with you, I work because I actually enjoy what I'm doing.
Oh, well, actually, you'd be surprised. We get that answer more often than not. Well, one of the most memorable gimmicks in the history of WEW is the Pussy World Order.
There's a funny story.
Well, that's the question. Where in the world did the PWO come from?
Originally, Dan, when they started it, they used to make people watch it. It was like erotic wrestling. So they would get us real wrestlers in, and then they would bring in porn stars, which would do the little light porn, I guess. To be honest with you, I really never watch it. I only watch the real matches. So they have these porn stars come in as a PWO, which, you know, was the Pussy World Order. So I always assumed, yeah, PWO, you know, it's like women power or whatever. Not really giving it much of a thought. And then when Dan stopped using the porn stars as much, he was like, well, here, you and Gorgeous George and stuff will be part of the PWO, and then they hooked us up with some strippers that come out in valets or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then that ran for a while, and then it wasn't until recently they were laughing, me and the girls were hanging out, and then they're like, yeah, well, you know how you get into the PWO, and I'm like, no, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, you have to be a carpet muncher. I bust out laughing. They was doing the whole time and never even knew it, and I go, Dan, you had me as a carpet muncher all that time. listen, I'm not, no disrespect to people that do. I'm not knocking them, but that's not my gig at all. So now I knew why everyone was cheering when I came out, and here I thought it was just because of me.
All right, and your gimmick name at the time was Pussy Willow. I mean, is that supposed to be is that supposed to be like a pun on something?
Yeah, most of the names on there that they come up with are like puns, pretty much, if you can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like G.I. Ho, that was always my favorite one, and some of them, Full-Breasted Italian for FBI. I mean, there's just some funny ones.
Yeah.
I would, it is what it is, so it's funny.
And the WEW shows, I don't know about recently because I have, my DVD collection has been suffering, but do the raunchy nature of the WEW shows offend you in any way?
No, not at all. I mean, that's not what I do. I go out there and I wrestle. So, I mean, and I tell a lot of the girls this. I mean, you're getting an opportunity to be on TV and show your work skills. I mean, those other girls are doing what they have to do. That's what they make their money. And I think, quite honestly, if they didn't have that mixture, the DVDs wouldn't sell and the shows wouldn't be as big as they are. So, I mean, everyone has their place on the show, and they just do it.
All right. Well, if I may compliment you another time or once more, you have a fantastic physique, if I may say so.
Thank you.
How often and how hard do you have to work out to maintain your body?
I would go to the gym like anywhere from 3 to 4 times a week. If I can more, but no, like minimum three times a week, and then I'll usually take a month off out of the year. And a lot of it, people don't realize a lot of it has to do with dieting. So I know that I'll be really thin and I'll be a little bit more muscular because it depends on your diet.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you keep working out, you'll always maintain.
And how many hours a day?
Probably, like for just my workout, I'll go from an hour to an hour and a half, and if I'm in a hurry, I'll just do cardio for half an hour. It depends on what your schedule's like and where you're at.
And besides cardio, do you focus on strength, on weights or stretching?
I do light weights, take a couple yoga classes. I love having a belly dance class I take. I love it. Not quite the belly dancer yet, but it's fun.
All right. Well, here's the other question that might be a little none of my business. For men, there is tremendous pressure to take steroids and constantly work out to get that perfect body, especially if they want to make it to WWE. For women, it's plastic surgery, including breast augmentation.
Right.
At the risk of sounding rude, have you had any work done on you?
Well, yeah, I've had breast augmentation.
Okay.
And I don't hide.
All right. And
actually, if you look at old pictures, unless I grew overnight or I'm padding my bra very well, something's wrong.
Was there any pressure placed on you to get your boobs done?
No, not at all. That was a personal choice I made. I actually had my boobs done before I actually was in wrestling.
Ah.
That was choice.
Alrighty, well, 2 more, and then we got some word associations. Now, you've had a pretty long career, so I have to ask this question. Do you consider yourself a woman wrestler or a wrestling woman? In other words, do you consider yourself a woman first or a wrestler first?
I consider myself a woman first and a wrestler.
Okay. And we get varied responses on that question, too. Now, here's my last question before the word associations. You work for WEW, so the question I have is, can a women's wrestling company, one that focuses on in-ring work and not on mature, gimmicky, or adult themes, work in the United States?
I don't know, my honest opinion on that, I don't really think so. I think that, here, let's just look at wrestling history. Women and midgets wear what?
Sideshows. Right?
Well, right. And that's where it came out, where women and they had midgets, they add to the show tremendously, but the key is they add to it. Some women are great female wrestlers, but I don't think they'll ever get the respect that men get. Because basically most people don't want to see 2 women going at it like the main event, going at it like a Triple H and Shawn Michaels. What they want to see 2 women do their job and have some fun while they're watching it. Women aren't the main event. And I think if you don't have those, I mean, that's why I'm saying why WWE works the formula. I don't think if you just had great female wrestling with no gimmicks on it, I'm like, yes, some people will watch it, but will the majority of it, will they watch it? Probably not. I mean, think about it. Would you watch it if it was just straight on wrestling?
Well,
everyone came out in those one-piece tights,
well,
those ugly, inspiring one-piece tights,
well,
and they were just showing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thing is I've always loved women's wrestling, so I probably would. I'm one of those rare few, I guess. But.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There's a rare few. I mean, like I said, there are some people that, yeah. I mean, but you know, like, and it's not like I'm trying to tell people. Most people want to see two attractive, sexy women, or women with some kind of gimmick in the ring, and you know, showing their athletic ability, and meanwhile want to have a good laugh and have a good time at it. I mean, that's just my opinion. I know some female wrestlers have argued the point with me, but you know, their opinions. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's just my belief of wrestling. You know.
Alrighty. Well, here's a question. I didn't have it on my list, but I'll ask it anyway. Are there any women you haven't wrestled yet that you'd like to?
Hey, Young. I think I could take her now.
And
I always joke and say I aspire to have her spot.
And the final question I have before the word associations is, what's the funniest story that you can tell me that won't get anybody in serious legal trouble?
Funniest story I could tell? Let me think. There's so many funny stories. I can't think of one that just comes right off. Oh, I don't know. I guess I mean the funniest story is I always say, and actually after like the WWE shows, if someone just follows around with the camera, oh my God, you'd have a great reality show there, because that's where we all get together. We're all great friends on the show. It's a great crew of girls and wrestlers. You know, some of them are my closest friends, and we just have our shenanigans and fun. I mean, I get to sit there and begin to tell you. Probably the funniest one is when we were in Atlanta, and we went into this bar, and it was not open yet, and we all sitting there having some drinks, and there was a bartender there, and laughing because, well, we're talking to her, and we don't realize it until actually as things are going, and I'm hanging on Amy Lee, and I'm calling her I'm like, hey, my sugar mom, I'll buy me a drink or whatever. Well, anyway, come to find out, after we leave this place, we find out that it was a lesbian bar, and none of us were lesbians. And once we found out it was, things started to make sense, and we laughed about it still. I'll never forget it. I was like, how funny that we were hanging out in a lesbian bar and had no idea, because there was nobody in there except for the bartender at that time, because we were like there early. So I guess that, you know, stuff like that, like shenanigans.
Alrighty, well.
So I mean, I just have to wait till the videos come out if we ever make them.
You know, they might sell.
They probably would.
Alrighty, well, we've got a few word associations here. Basically, if you have a story, feel free to share. But if you only want to give a one-word answer, that's fine too. Okay? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting for my word.
Oh, I'm sorry. The first one is G.I.Ho.
G.I.Ho?
Yeah.
I think it's Jen. She's a sweetheart. The new one.
The next one is April Hunter.
Pass.
What was that?
So I'll pass on that one.
Pass, okay.
I don't really have much to say on that one, yeah.
Okay. Next one's Primetime Amy Lee.
Love her. One of my best friends. Can't get enough of her. She's fun.
Next one's Angel Orsini.
Love Angel, my FBI full-blooded Italian girl. I have tons of fun with her.
All right. Next one's the announcer for WEW, Eric Gargiulo.
Oh, he's a doll. He's funny. He makes me laugh.
All right. Next one is The Godfather.
Godfather? Oh, there he was. That's my man. He helped me get my claim of fame, my 15 seconds of fame. He's a really nice guy.
All right. Next one is another fellow of your of Godfather's host, Victoria.
Victoria, I don't really know her that well to give any opinion on her. we've worked very briefly together, so I can't say much about that.
All right, well, the next one is the Queen of Extreme, Francine.
If I needed a left arm, she'd be it. She's like one of my bestest, dearest friends. Love her, and I talk to her almost every day.
And the last one is the unfortunate one, Crash Holly.
Crash is a good friend of mine. It is unfortunate what happened to him. I will miss him, and he was a wonderful man. You know, it's just life, you know. Sometimes you wish you could have seen it before it was happening, you know. I wish there was more I could have done.
Well, Dream Reunion 2 takes place in Kokomo, Indiana at the Johanning Civic Center on October 6th. For ticket and other information, visit WCWARULZ.com. Wrestle Fan Fest takes place at the legendary Cow Palace in San Francisco on October 19th to 21st. In addition to Bobcat, you can meet Kurt Angle, Roddy Piper, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and plenty more stars of the wrestling business. For more information, visit WrestleFanFest.com. And our guest, Bobcat, is a former WWE Hardcore Champion and one half of the current WEW Tag Champions with Ronnie Jonah. Did I get that right?
Ronnie Jonah.
Ronnie Jonah, okay.
Ronnie Jonah.
It's my California accent, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to call her Ronnie from now on.
Bobcat's MySpace page is www.myspace.com/Cyndi Bobcat, CYNDI Bobcat. Anything else you'd like to promote?
No, but I got a new website, but that'll be on my MySpace page called www.sexybobcat.com, and just getting it started. So, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been really nice, and no, your questions weren't bad at all.
Well, Bobcat, you've got a little bit of interesting information that you'd like to share with everyone. So, the floor is yours.
Yes, well, just be the first to know this, and then I said on an interview that I am presently engaged to Al Snow.
Awesome.
And very, very happy. Wonderful man, and happy to have him.
And when did you two meet?
We've known each other probably 12, 13 years. It just so happened, like, I guess fate would have it 4 years ago, that we were together at a show, and we just clicked, and never looked back.
Wow. Well,
you never know.
On behalf of every wrestling fan in the world, let me just say congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And I hope everything works out.
Well, if you look on the MySpace page, you'll see the pictures and their vacations and all that stuff on there too. And you'll get to see my beautiful future stepdaughter, who's also getting into wrestling. So you get to see her on there too. She goes by Snowflake, and she comes and valets me on a lot of the shows.
This is a presentation of Epicenter International. My name is James Walsh, and I'd like to thank you for checking out the Wrestling Epicenter here on YouTube. If you have not done so already, please do. Click that subscription button and the notifications bell. This way you'll be notified anytime I upload any new or new to you classic content from our archives that date back to 2002. If you get the opportunity, please also check out www.wrestlingepicenter.com for all your wrestling news and info needs, as well as our store to keep us going free and clear. Without any further delay, let's get to why you came here, the content here on YouTube.